Hi everybody, welcome to So You Can. My name is Anna and guess what we are doing today? It is digital dealer exclusive for March and we did the embroidery sampler. So this is what she has and it's designed to go into an embroidery hoop and you can hang it on your wall in your sewing studio to show off everything that you can make. So the heart is chenille, the flowers are fringe, the butterfly is applique, the sewing machine is red work, the rainbow is your decorative stitch, and then you have your piecing, quilt piecing in the hoop. So I'm glad you guys are here. There is no rule to what fabric you use, just match your thread to your fabric if you are changing it up. You're gonna need your Kimberbell, you're gonna need your scissor kit, and your stabilizer. And when we are done this, join us on the first Saturday of every month here in store. We're not going to broadcast it. You're just going to join me to make our sample. So come on in. This is next month's April. First Saturday in April. Come on in and join me. Anyway, let's get started. So get your stabilizer and let's go. There we go. I got my stabilizer hooped. I got all my pieces of fabric cut out. We used the fusible backing. We used a wash away topping and a medium cutaway. And there is our fabric collection. This one is very forgiving, so you can use whichever colors you want. The only color I switched out from the sample was this one, because I think it looks better with the peach for when we do the flying geese. But I think that's it. Let's go to the machine and get started. Okay, so we have our stabilizer in. I got my scissors set up. I wound my bobbin because I don't like playing chicken with my machine, so we're just not going to. We're just going to start with a fresh bobbin. And I'm using the bigger hoop, so I'm not going to be re-hooping, which is really lovely to have the big hoops. So we are just going to start. Let's go see what color do we want to do our placement lines so you guys can see. I'll put pink in. So this is the spool cap I like for the glide spools, and we have those on our website. So if you guys are wanting to do that, it's a good idea. I do find they work better than that one does, just because the end is smaller. But anyway, let's get started. So you can see the whole thing fit on there. This is our background fabric, and I did do the iron-on fusible stabilizer is on the back, and we're just gonna place it where it covers everything. So the first design that it wants to do is it wants to do the butterfly. So that is our blues. So I'm just going to change my thread. So obviously there is no rule on how you do this. You can definitely pick any which colors you want for fabrics. But this is what I've picked. And I think it's gonna look really nice. So now that it has stitched it, we are just going to trim it. Okay, part one of the butterfly is done. Okay, so the first little part of our butterfly wings on the bottom part is done. So we are just going to put it back in the hoop. Put the hoop back on the machine, and we are just going to press start and do the top. And again, we're just trimming. Trim nice and close because it is going to do a satin stitch around this too, and you don't want fabric peeking out. Okay, so our butterfly is all done. Now we are going to do the quilting part. So the very first color I want to put in is the orange. And we just press start. So in the instructions it shows a blue fabric, but I picked a green. I just thought the green worked better with this nice peachy orange color. I'm just gonna throw a small piece of tape down just to keep it from moving. So you can take this and you can take it to your iron, or if you have the Clover fabric folding pen, this is perfect for these little projects. And we just want to let that soak in. And you'll see right here, I don't know if you can tell or not, but it says push, and that gets it into that second cavity. There's a sponge in there, and we're just gonna watch. You can see the colors changing, and there's a solution coming out. That is your pressing, it's like a starch in there, and we're just gonna see, and it creates a beautiful crisp line. Keep the cap on. And now we do the next part. And press start. Hold it up. You can see I leave a little bit there. I have a good spot. So now we need our last pretty petals in the peach.
And we're just going to stitch around our design. So our design number 2 is done. We're just going to trim around it. You can pick whichever color you want it to do. I am just going to keep going with my soft peach color. Nice little trick if your fabric has got a lot of threads in it. Let's use the tape to clean it up. Okay, so project number 2 is done, which is piecing in the hoop. Now we are going to do it's a flower, but it's also fringed. And we're just sitting back and letting it stitch the flowers. And if you look on the screen, it's that one right there that we're doing. Sorry about the glare. I'll try to turn it where you don't have as much. Combinations you guys have picked. Remember, this is just something that we can hang on our sewing room wall to show all the different techniques. So you really can do whatever you want, whatever colors you want. So it has finished. It has finished doing our leaves.
So what we're going to do now is we are going to change we're going to take our bobbin out. We're just going to set that somewhere where we don't lose it. This is a wash away thread, so when this gets wet it actually dissolves. So we're going to wind a bobbin. But because it's white and it looks like everything else, just take a Sharpie or a marker and mark it. So that way you know that your bobbin with a mark on it is the one that's your wash away, so you don't accidentally use it and you wash it and then it's gone. You don't need a lot of it, so you can set your bobbin to be on the low side of full. I do always wind my bobbin on the lower speed setting. Okay, so we got our wash away. Let's pick our first color. So our first color is going to be light pink. So remember, wash away in your bobbin, light pink on the upper part, and just press start. Okay, so you can pick which color you want for your second flower, but we're just going to stitch that out just like we did the other one. Alright, so we're just going to change our bobbin. Remember, the one with the black mark is your water soluble, so we're just going to set that away because we don't need that anymore. And you're just going to get your other white or a neutral color, whatever you had chosen to start with. So the first flower center it wants to stitch is the one right here. So I got this really pretty teal color. Now you might be wondering, why did it go over here and is doing this? So what the demo for this is a fancy decorative fill is what it's showing. So we're just changing our thread. This time, if you have your thread the dark pink, grab that. I'm using Pink Lemonade for this one. And just press start. Okay, so that's how far we've gotten so far on our projects in the hoop. But now it's saying that it wants to do the heart. So let's give it what it wants. So the heart is kind of neat because it wants to do a chenille effect, and that is where you sew everything together, and we're actually gonna take the fabric, we're gonna be cutting into it, and then we are gonna fray it so it looks very dimensional. So we're gonna start with just one piece of fabric, just one, and we're gonna cover up the heart. And we're going to press start. So we got that all trimmed, and now we're just going to press start. So we're going to take 1, 2, 3 layers right over top, and we're going to stitch that down. So now we're going to cut this out. So you can see I cut 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to put it back in there, and we're going to stitch again. So now what we're going to do is that basting stitch that went around on the outside, we're actually going to take those out. So if you have a seam ripper or something like that, just pick at it, and it's the outside stitches that we're getting out. Okay, so this time you're going to need your Kimberbell scissors, and we're just going to cut in let's see if I can't get through all the layers. Now just being extra cautious because I really don't want to cut through my main white fabric. So I got 2 layers. I got 1 more layer I have to get through. So there's all 3 layers. See, and I don't want to go through the bottom one. And that was all 3. And that was all 3. And that was all 3. So now comes the fun part. You can make it wet, and I have just a nail filing thing here, and we are trying to rough this up on purpose. So that's what it looks like, all fluffed up. So the next one it wants to do, it just wants to do red work for the sewing machine. So we're just going to put a color in, and we're just going to stitch that out. Okay, so we're just going to change our thread to our dark blue. Yeah, so we're just stitching another part of the rainbow. So I didn't do anything except change the color. So again, we're just going to change our color to that dark gray. Okay, so we are all done on the embroidery part. So we can take our hoop off the machine, and that's what we've got so far. But our little flowers still need to be finished. So I'm just gonna grab my Kimberbell tweezers. I'm gonna take it to the back. Watch it. Okay, and we just want to see if we can't get our flowers to come to the front. So you see, that's what we're trying to get, all those cute little petals to come up to this side of the project. So we are going from this to this. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. So we have one more flower to pull apart, and that is this one. Okay guys, we are done. Our project is done. So we've done applique, red work, piecing, decorative stitching, fringe, and chenille. Now all you have to do is you have to go out, go to a thrift store or anywhere and find a hoop that this fits into, and you can hang it up on your sewing studio wall. That way if people ask, what's that? You got a sample to show them that, and it does look really nice. It's another one of those projects that looks even better in person than it does on the picture. So next month is almost here, and then we are going to do the next one. And I don't know if you guys know or not, but this is also our classroom. So if you guys show up on the first Saturday of every month, we are going to have room for 4 or 5, and you guys can join me on my sew along as I make the samples. So it is first come, first serve. So send me a message and reserve your machine or reserve your spot. I usually have a list up where you order the design of what supplies you need. I don't do kits, but you are more than welcome to put your supplies together and come and join us. And that's it. Thanks for sewing along.